YouTube, what's up? How y'all doing? Yeah, it's me again. Lucky for you, you about to get a twofer tonight. I'm back at you, right back again. You know what I'm saying? Right back at you again. Guess what though? Guess what time it is? Guess what time it is, baby? Story time. I got you. Check it out, man. So the other day, or a couple days ago, whatever it was, I was talking to a good friend of mine, and I had went to his little hangout, and I noticed he had a flag, flying high on display. A good 4-foot flag, you know, big enough, to be where it was at. And this particular flag, I would see it there all the time, just hanging out. Flag just hanging out, you know what I'm saying? But I noticed the flag was always dirty. You know what I mean? It had some light colors on it, like white. You know what I mean? Was one of the light colors. And some other colors. You know what I'm saying? Let's just say that. But it was always dirty. You know? This is not at his house. This is at his hangout place. You know what I mean? Regardless. So one day, I said, you know what? When I see him, I'm going to mention it to him what I think about the flag. So I happened to see him, and I mentioned to him. I said, hey, man, I noticed your flag up there. It looks a little dirty, a little dingy. You know what I mean? Might want to, pull it down, throw it in the washing machine or something. Because I know you represent. You know what I mean? That's a representation of you. That's a representation of where you from. But I don't think he received it too well. I think he kind of took offense to it, to be honest with you. But that's all right. It wasn't no water on my back. You know what I mean? I'm like a duck. It just flowed off. You know what I'm saying? But I was just trying to help him out. You know what I mean? And it just didn't go according to plan. And he's a good friend of mine. Matter of fact, I can call him family. You know what I'm saying? That's why I felt the need to say something. Wasn't a big deal, but just something I noticed because I go through life and I notice things. You know what I mean? Small things, big things, whatever it is. So instead of getting in an argument over it, I just let it go. Now, in my opinion, if you're going to represent who you are and where you're from, doing so in the best light is probably preferred. You don't want to represent where you're from and who you are and your country. You won't do that with a dirty flag, do you? Is that just me? Is that me making something out of nothing? I mean, I don't think so. If you're going to represent your heritage and post up a flag, you want people to think highly of you. You want people to have respect for you. But you're not doing yourself any justice if you're not showing any regard to the place that you're from, simply by having a dirty flag. Says a lot. And in some cases, it can show a little about you at the same time. So I just try to encourage him to, represent in a better manner. Man to man. That's all it was. Nothing to be confrontational about. But you may say, hey, Peanut, why you got that hat on? That's a valid question. It's a valid question. You see, I grew up around all types of people. Various walks of life. Experienced a few different nationalities. Known an assortment of different people from different places all over the world. Simply by living. Simply by growing up. Simply by having friends. And by me having on a hat like this, doesn't negate the fact that I'm an African American male. I'm not African. I'm an African American male. And proud to be one. Without a doubt. Sometimes that proudness is hard to hold on to because here in America we're looked at in a negative light at times. But also you have to realize at times we portray ourselves in a negative light. So you can't expect anything other than the opinion that certain people have of us. But let's retract to where I was going with this statement. I've been around several different people. As I've told you several times before, I've always been different. I've always stayed away from the crowd. I've always chose to do my own thing. I grew up the only child for 12 years. I've become my own man within those 12 years. And then my sister came along. And 6 years after that, my little brother came along. But by the time my sister came along, I was already doing my own thing, living my own life. Yeah, still under my parents' roof. But I was my own character at that point. My lifestyle was already developed. My likes and dislikes was already made up in my mind. So again, I didn't do what everyone else did. I didn't hang out over here, hang out over there, follow the wrong crowd. When I was growing up, I was into BMX riding. Dirt park. Not racing, but jumping. Freestyle jumping at dirt parks. There used to be a really big one in Union City called Red Devil. That used to be a place to be for bikes. Dirt bikes. When I got tired of riding bikes, I got into skateboards. I like to think I was pretty good. Maybe amateur level, not professional. But the goal and the desire was to eventually be on a professional level. I've skated with professionals in San Francisco. But the things I've always done are not things that are typically pursued by African Americans. Of course, they rode bikes. Of course, they rode skateboards. But they didn't do it in abundance. I didn't have many friends that were into bikes and jumping and skateboards and doing tricks. So the friends that I had at that time were of different nationalities, various nationalities. So when I had friends, I didn't see color. I didn't see differences. If they liked what I liked, then I called you a friend. But I've always strived to be different on purpose. I've strived to be different. And later on in life, well, you know what? Let me backtrack a little bit. I had a good friend. His name was Giovanni. When I skateboarded, he was alongside of me many places that we went to. And he was an African American male. And that guy was badass. So, being that I remember skateboarding, I just wanted to give him a shout out. I don't know where he is today. But that guy was, in my opinion, professional level. Good old Gio. Holla at me if you see me, man. But later on in life, like I told you before, I got into low riding. And a lot of Latinos indulge in that culture. So me being different, I was attracted to low riding. I hung out with, I grew up with, I lived with Latinos and the Latin culture. It got to the point where my closest friends would say, man, I don't think you're black, man. They say it as a joke. But they would literally say, man, I think you're Cubano or Haitian or Puerto Rican maybe or something. There's got to be something in your gene that brings you along to this environment, to this culture. Because again, it wasn't that many African Americans that was doing what I was doing. Where I lived, anyway. It's a different scene in Southern California. It's big for African Americans as well as the Latinos. But I'm proud to have friends that are Latin. I'm proud to have family that are Latin. Some are Mexican. Some are Puerto Rican. They are so tight of friends that I consider them family. That's why I have this hat on. That's the answer to your question. It's not that I want to be something that I'm not. It's just that no matter who you are, if you're going to represent something, you need to do it in a positive light. You need to give it the best presence that you can give it. If you're flying a flag high and proud, make sure that flag is clean. Make sure that flag never touches the ground. Make sure you show nothing but the utmost respect for that flag. If this hat that I'm wearing was dirty, I would have the audacity to put it on. Because I wouldn't be representing me. I'd be representing the Latin culture in a negative way, in a negative manner. If I put this thing on and it was not acceptable and it was dirty, I'm not representing anyone by having this hat on. But it's something that I'm comfortable enough to wear. I've worn it out in public. I've worn it to car shows. If you know me, you know. And the ones that know me know that I'm not trying to be something other than what I am. But I am proud to have friends and family of different nationalities. So the point I'm making is, if you're going to hang a flag up high, take constructive criticism if someone notices something that you may not notice. If someone notices something that perhaps you've just seen every day. You've seen it every day, so you don't really notice that it's kind of unacceptable. Be proud of where you're from by representing where you're from to the best of your abilities. If you're going to hang a flag up high, make sure that's the best flag in the world that you're hanging up high. If you have to get a new one every 6 months because you got a smudge on it, then you go get yourself a new one. But people see that flag. And if they see a filthy looking flag, they put that representation on you. They won't respect you. If they don't respect you, then they definitely won't respect your nation. So YouTube, Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think in the comments. You think the representation of your culture and where you're from should always be represented in a positive light? If you think so, put that in the comments. Let me know what you think. I respected my family member enough to let him know that it didn't look good. It wasn't a good look for him. It wasn't a good look for his establishment where the flag was hanging from. If I didn't respect the flag, his flag, I wouldn't have wasted my time even mentioning it. So that should show you something. So everybody out there, let's respect one another. Let's appreciate one another. Most importantly, let's love one another. If someone wants to be around you, then they don't have hatred in their heart for you. If someone doesn't mind representing what you represent, then they have love for you. If I had a hat that represented the flag that I'm referring to, that a friend of mine had, I would sport that hat too. Because I respect him as a person. I respect his nationality. And I respect the country that he's from. And I just want him to have a little more respect for it too. By having a crisp, clean, sharp looking flag out there, flying high in the wind. You can dress yourself up all nice, looking good. Then represent looking good just the same. YouTube, appreciate you being here with me once again. Let me know if I was wrong. Let me know if I overstood my boundaries. Let me know if you think I was just being helpful. Either way, there was no love lost. I'd do it again in a heartbeat if I thought it was helpful. Be proud of where you're from. Always represent you. Never back down for no one. And if they don't like you for who you are, the hell with them. Because they don't matter anyway. YouTube. That was story time right there. Talk to me in the comments. Peace out.